2023 to order at 6:01. All right, let's come back to order then. What's that? Ethan has a little bit of a chat for, I'll hand the floor to Ethan.
Good evening, everyone. We just wanted to introduce tonight our new municipal intern, Jocelyn Baxter. We are very thrilled to have her, very qualified, and she has already been an immediate help within the organization, and we are excited for all the wonderful things for her to learn and help us do.
We ask for speech.
Does she go by Jocelyn?
Are we allowed to ask her questions?
Anything that working for you?
All right, thank you, that welcome, Jocelyn. Now I'll ask council to get back to decorum of council meetings. And I have to mention still that we continue to watch all that's going on in northern Alberta. Wildfires in our hearts, of course, continue to be with our neighbors affected by this crisis. Thoughts are with all residents, our firefighters, everyone helping as they're faced with the impact and uncertainty of the fires. And stay safe. Know that you're all in our thoughts as we all search for ways to support you in these extremely overwhelming and difficult days and in the days ahead. And I know there's, we all hope every night as we watch TV that we'll hear better news, and we don't seem to. I mean, it's the news that it is, but certainly thinking of our neighbors up north. And I know we've sent a few firefighters from Didsbury as well up there, and thank them for their service and all the service of all the firefighting teams that are assisting and all the volunteers that are up there. So we'll move to adoption of the agenda, and I don't think we have any additions, do we? So we should be done by 7 tonight, if everybody stays on track. Yes. Yes, Councilor, go ahead.
I'm just wondering if we could, I was wondering if the CA report could go farther to the end so that we heard all the other things so we can ask questions, but I guess it doesn't matter because we can ask whatever we want during the CA report, right?
Anything with that to do with governance, get some things about back to the table? Yeah.
I'll be happy to move that we accept this very brief, short agenda for May 23rd, 2023.
All right, there are no additions, so I'll call the vote as presented. All in favor? That's carried. Item 4, adoption of our minutes. Motion to adopt the minutes. Sure.
I move the council adopt the May 9th, 2023 regular council meeting minutes as presented.
Any comments or questions? Call the vote, all in favor? That's carried. Move on to item 6.1, reports. Councilor Moore.
Thank you. I attended on May 15th a ribbon cutting at the golf course restaurant, which is, I mean, something about a caddy shack. Okay, that makes sense. And it was very good. I've been up there for a meal. It's awesome. We're having a lot of openings, and it's exciting. I see all the notes from Alexa about our openings. Great news. And on the 16th, the committee of the whole, and I think that's it.
Thank you. Councilor Windsor?
Thank you, Mayor Hunter. On regional waste, everybody knows because of the announcement last time about the closure of the recycle centers across the service area of the Waste Commission, and that's the latest news we have there. In RDR Mug, our participation in the South Saskatchewan River operating model is starting to bear fruit and demonstrating to the other basins, river basins, as well as the provincial government, that we are eminently looking at having to have additional inline on-stream storage somewhere between Red Deer and Drumheller in the imminent future. When I say imminent future, it takes between 20 and 30 years to build a facility like this. So, but at least the awareness is coming now. That the studies they're doing through WaterSmart are indicating that the Red Deer River is the most vulnerable to drought situations. The next in line is the Old Man River, which supposedly could withstand 3 consecutive years of drought. And then finally the Bow River, which would have, because of the number of reservoirs on the Bow River, would handle 7 to 8 years. But Red Deer River is very vulnerable, and 2 years could be catastrophic to the users along the river, and that's partly us. And so our work with that group, the South Saskatchewan River operating model, is becoming very, very valuable. Thank you.
Peter?
May 15th, I filled in for Councillor Williams at the museum, and they were given a little bit of bad news that after 20 years of servicing Didsbury, the Chinook Yard Care was closing down. They tried to sell the business. They tried to have someone take over the clients, just with no success. So Chinook Yard Care took care of all their snow shoveling, and I would call it flag fixing. When there was issues with the flags, they would come over for free and do it. So they're going to be looking for someone to replace that ability to clear their snow, at least from the sidewalk up to the doors and that for them. May 16th, I was double booked. I was supposed to be at a library meeting. However, we had a committee of the whole meeting, so I don't have anything to report on the library meeting. I haven't gotten the notes from that yet. And on the 17th, I again filled in for Councillor Williams. Sorry. And that was policy and governance. And on the ones that I was filling in for, I am the alternate. That's why I was filling in. Thank you.
Thank you. I thought I'd give a little background on the Water Commission to start, Mr. Short. The Mountain View Water Commission at the Anthony Henday Water Plant in Innisfail, for those who aren't aware of all this, was purchased from the government of Alberta in 1992. Some believe it was gifted. However, the facility was purchased for $475,000. Debenture was created, and there were 6 partners: Innisfail, Bowden, Coles, Didsbury, and Carstairs, and Crossfield. They made up the partnership. Today's cost would be in the area of around $16 million. The entire network of assets, plant, pipelines, etc., is valued now at well over $40 million. Customers of the commission include the aforementioned members, the towns, correctional institution at Bowden, a couple of commercial customers, and 5 small landowners which were on board prior to purchase. Only the original 6 town members sit on the board of directors, and all other users are customers only and have no influence on the board's decision-making process. On to our last meeting, which was May 10th, revealed that it was been a quiet spring with limited chemical required because of low turbidity in the Red Deer River, which is our intake source. The Commission adopted an interesting approach, however, to equipment sourcing, especially to plant lighting. We've adopted the approach of upgrading on condition. Rather than the replacement of selected equipment that has been time limited either by some type of depreciation calculation or manufacturer's suggested limited lifespan, it was determined that on condition was the way to save money. This was unanimously accepted as a prudent way of dealing with upgrading equipment at the water plant. So something to consider for Water Commission continues to provide sustainable, safe, clear, clean water to all our communities. And that is my report.
I want to go back, I didn't get a report last week, sure. You said I would report this week, so. I have to say that I was at a wonderful Mount View Regional Film Office opening. And it was an amazing night, filled with the who's who of Alberta, in our regional, in our area of filming, and keep Alberta rolling, and Calgary Independent Filming there. Many involved in the industry with cast, setting up the scenes and the equipment and moving the equipment, and businesses that open their, welcome the film industry into their businesses. Many of them were there that get to play a big part in the scenes that are in the films. Staff, councils. So it was a wonderful night, and we, I think, needed to make a special mention of that, because I know we were all very impressed with the evening, those of us that were there. And thanks to everybody that has been part of making this area such a success in filming. And everyone knows we just recently had a film crew in last week, and in and out, and they're quite respectful, and we'll see that on the film when it comes out. So I don't think the press was there though. I'm right on that, aren't I? So I'm just sending a shout, that it was a great night that would have been well served to be covered by our local. Yeah, but not that paper. The radio was great, don't get me wrong. And I guess when I say the press, I think of the press that runs the papers, not the radio. Oh, so thanks to the old radio station. Ribbon cutting at the bake shop, the new bake shop on May 12th. And I know this wasn't there officially at the car show, but it was a wonderful day and event. Again, as usual, nothing short of what we expect, and actually beyond what we expect all the time. And thanks to the car club for all the work they do to make that such a successful day. Caddyshack, yes, on the 15th, and had a few other meetings that just for more governance and not so much out there in the community. So that is my report. And I think unless there's questions of anybody, we'll have a motion to accept council reports as presented.
Mayor Hunter, I'll move that council accept the council reports for May 23rd, 2023 as information.
I'll just add to that I am going to FCM Toronto this weekend, so I will bring back a whole bunch of new information and reports. I'll bring back tomorrow morning. Don't tell people when I'm going away.
Oh. Next week.
Yeah, to the FCM
3 months.
Thanks for that. So, a motion to accept as information, you said? Call the vote, all in favor? That's carried. Okay. We have we have a chair report now. Do you have anything to add to that, Ethan? Before we.
Yes, I do. Just a short little verbal update on. We continue to have fire crews deployed as part of the regional Mountain View County regional team that went up to assist way up north in the Rainbow Lake area. They were involved in protecting structures up there. And their efforts have been credited with protecting and saving some structures up there. And so we've been involved in that the last couple of weeks. So just that involvement continues there where we help where we can. We're now coming back again as that threat has now been reduced, and so we're coming back. Again, waiting for the next requests for where we can be helpful.
Are there any questions or comments on this here report, Deputy Mayor?
I know this is one that's come up a couple of times, so I'm happy to see, this on the report. And the report simply says, unfortunately, due to numerous utility lines being located along the corridor, including high-pressure gas lines, mature trees are not a feasible replacement along the campground. And it looks like you guys have come up with an alternate source of planting, which is lilacs. And I just wanted to commend you for that, because I think that's going to make nice wind shelter in there, and they're pretty when they blossom, they smell nice. And you found a solution to a problem that we had, so I think that deserves mention.
Thank you, Mayor Hunter. I want to thank the administration for the report on the communities in blue and where we're going with that. I think that there was an evaluation report that was supposed to be delivered in January from the CIB group. And I'm wondering if maybe we could, if it would be appropriate to have them come now and do the presentation, given that there is an evaluation form that has been rated us as four blossoms, and it would be interesting to know exactly what that means. And I mean, the report is glowing, and it has some really good suggestions in it. So that I'm just wondering if maybe that would be appropriate to have that group come and do a presentation.
You can make that motion later.
Okay.
I don't know if you want some input from administration or just make a motion. Or would you like that handled, Ethan?
Yeah, motion would be good.
Okay.
That's great. I was thinking the same thing. Like, is it 4 out of 4? That's exceptional. 4 out of 400? Not so good. That's what I was getting. But it's nice to put it in there, right? Because people might look at 4 and go, that's not very good. It's really good. Those old school 100%ers, right? When it needs to be marked.
Councilor, you have another comment?
Thank you, Mayor Hunter. There's a couple other reports that I think that we are maybe due for. I'm not sure how it works. The winter camping campground report, I think we must be finished the winter camping period now because it's open for the regular camping. And so it probably would be prudent to have that report. Also, the curling rink rental report, I think that we, last spring, were told that it was an oddball year, and so the rental was going to remain the same for this next coming year, or past winter. And I think probably the curling's got to be complete now, so I would think that the report would be imminent on that as well. And I guess I would like to see those reports.
To plan those motions, or would you like some feedback from the administration? We could have some feedback first, Ethan, or do you have any?
Thank you, through the chair. So the winter camping report, I'm currently working on that right now. I just want to get feedback from our hosts as well to have their input into it. And as far as the curling, that's definitely something I can bring back.
We wouldn't need a motion for the campground report, because that was already part of the direction that was given. That's in the works, and once it's completed, it'll come back. But the other, and was the curling rink part of a previous direction, I believe, to bring that, so I think just the motion for the first one. The CIB report.
And there was a motion for it was at SPC actually, that building report, from my recall. We're gonna get a report back on that, so, yeah, I guess we'd have to find out where that is. I think it was the first year that it happened, so it should have been at the end of what year is this? Should have been the end of 22. I know, but it should have been at the end of 2022. So you want another motion on that, or just want to find that?
No, we'll bring those too.
The
That's fine.
motions?
Yeah,
Okay.
just a motion for the CIB.
Okay. Councilor McCoy?
Back to the trees at Rosebud Valley Campground. I understand you can't put big mature trees in there for sure because of all the lines, but what about like columnar aspens that grow really fast and then log off, because then you've got the higher.
Councilor McCoy, that's
slower bill.
operational.
It's just a
So I
question.
think, well, the report was brought back. So I
have
guess
another
if
question.
you want a motion to explore further different trees, but again, talking directly to this administrative team.
Oh, sorry, I should have been facing you.
Well, I think it's that you should be talking to council, I guess, I'm trying to get you back to that.
Oh, I was gonna do this, right? Sorry.
But operational direction comes through motions, so if you want to make a motion about exploring further about trees, I think that would be appropriate. And
Can I
otherwise,
just mention the other thing? One more thing.
go ahead.
Just that I would like to see town do some sort of a press release for the fire crews in this area doing such great work up north. Maybe an RFA or something, because I think it takes time away from their jobs and it takes, like, it's dangerous. And I think we should be acknowledging our firefighters more.
And again,
Mayor,
that would be a motion if council wants to send something and rather than directing our administrative team, the council certainly could if they were interested in that. So, and a question about the communities in bloom, I guess. I believe the council has a big interest in its communities in bloom. It's totally about the town. And I'm feeling that we don't really know where we fit in, or what, is there an endorsement that needs to happen, or is there something that could help us maybe in the motion to make that, comes back to council, that we would understand council's role and how that all fits, because I know watching other communities in bloom communities, and I do have an opportunity to talk to them too at FCM, we're gonna be there, so that'll help a lot as well, but this I think is a big deal for our community and for council to get on board with. So what is your motion gonna be?
It's going to be that council direct administration to secure a report. To secure a report from the CIB group regarding the evaluation form. And maybe their performance in 2022.
Because I went to the presentation at the museum and I learned a lot there. And I think a lot of the residents from that presentation more than we did. Just because, and I think, those kinds of presentations, is there some way, I know there was a video and there's great judges that participated in it, so could that be a delegation at some point, I guess, and that we maybe include that in the motion? If there is a PowerPoint or would that be more appropriate at a CO? But I think the community would like to see it too, and I know they had the chance at the museum presentation, but that's where we first heard about the report. So Ethan, I guess we're just looking for, would we find somebody in communities in blue to present that, like a provincial or regional representative?
Yeah, that would be appropriate to
Okay,
invite them as a delegation and come and
okay. Thanks. All right, anything else on the CEO report? Go ahead first, then Councilor Bowser, you haven't spoke yet, and then Councilor Winter, and then.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm just wondering with the opportunity to perhaps through the chair, look at somebody with definite or defined horticultural experience in order to help beautify, especially in the absence of one person who did a heck of a job. And
Except
pursue the idea of having someone, hiring someone that'll actually do all the beautifications, flower-wise, plant-wise in our town.
No, but how would we do that as governors, I guess? I'm just,
Yeah, we can go with it.
Ethan, do you wanna comment on that?
We obviously will, we're looking at our, whenever you lose someone, then you internally review your staffing capacity and how to fill that role. And so we have some temporary things in place, but that's something that's an ongoing review.
Yeah, I think it's a bit different than, I know at one point we put in the budget to hire a planner. We didn't have one, so we leave that up to the organizational process and then, unless there's, I don't think there's a motion we can direct to hire or change the organizational structure, but if we wanna change our budget ever to fit somebody in.
And a level of service. You
Yeah.
want to expand the level of service to.
The idea from my point of view, Mayor, is that hire somebody with that professional knowledge rather than promoting someone from within who doesn't have that particular background is what I'm getting at. Maybe a totally new individual that has that.
I think we're really in the weeds there, and I hear what you're saying, but I think we count on our team to hire the people that fit that role. And if we need to make a new position in the budget, then I think that's the point that Ethan would come back to ask for the budget for that. But thanks. Councilman McQuaid?
Just a quick question. So the clerk's position works out of the arena, correct? Like that's where their space is? Did they not used to work over at the public works place?
We're really operationally in the weeds
Oh,
here.
no, I'm just
We are,
curious.
I think if we want an update on the organizational structure where everybody works, I don't even know if that's like where they are placed, I don't know. I understand what everybody's talking about, but it is Ethan's job to direct the administrative team and to hire in the positions that are there, so I think we should leave it at that right now and stay at the departments.
No direction.
No, yeah, I didn't hear direction, it was a suggestion, but
Yeah.
if Ethan ever needs more money for a position like that, he'll have to come begging for a new position.
I guess what I can understand, because it sounds like that we intend to continue our great work of making the community beautiful, just as before. And that's an ongoing work that we'll continue to do, like we do anytime there's a jostling of personnel. And if we find a gap that we need to expand the level of service, we'll bring a proposal to council. As the mayor.
Anyone else, you had a question, Councilman?
Not a question, Mayor Hunter, appreciation for the report on the legacy fund, I really appreciate that, and the clarification as to what the timing might be, and look very much forward to the initiation of the CHAMP program to lead that mural completion.
The only comment I had one on that is that it said that we are, and I'm not commenting with yours, I had a comment on the champ as well, it said that we are, identifies the need for development of culture heritage master plan, the document would assist. But we were just exploring it from what our strat plan says, so exploring it doesn't mean we'll get a champ, so that concerns me. We don't have a champ in place at some point. The word is this mural project, it just gets stuck in limbo. So I guess it's really up to council to make sure that that happens.
Well, what would happen in that case, so obviously the strategic plan identifies our exploration of a champ. If for some reason council decides that it's not feasible after exploring that, then what we would do then is, then council then would just make direct decisions about the mural if they decide not to have a champ. But since we're going to explore that, it would help in the decision making about the mural if we had a champ first. So that's why we first tackle that one. But if that for some reason doesn't come to
Any other questions or comments? Did you have your hand up, Councillor McCoy?
Yeah. It's a question. I just forgot it. About. Oh, I know. Is this the best way to spend the $15,000-16,000 on the mural, do you think?
Council made that motion last term, so it was the best way they found to spend the money. Yes. So, no more questions then? So we can accept the,
No, you said I need to make motions, if I want something back.
well, we're gonna have a motion to accept the CA report as information, okay?
I'll motion to accept the CAO, the amended CAO report as information. Just the other gravel report as well.
Call the vote, all in favor? That's carried. So we have a motion from Councilor Whitman, I don't know what your motion is.
Well, you told me I had motion about investing in the trees. You just told me a couple of times to make a motion, the fire crew. So I was just make those motions.
Go ahead.
So I would like to motion that we acknowledge or that the mayor send a letter or put something in the paper to acknowledge the great work of our fire crews, not just in Didsbury, but focus on Didsbury, but for all of Mountain View County Fire Region. Because I think their work is spectacular.
Comments or questions? Did you catch that, Lana? Let's just have it read back so that we have the motion that we're gonna vote on. Did you catch that?
Councillor McCoy?
Yeah, just now.
Yes. Moved by Councillor McCoy to do a press release to acknowledge the volunteers from the Didsbury Fire Department and Mountain View County volunteer firefighters and for attending the fires in northern Alberta.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I just wanted it to be a little, the motion to be a little more clear. Are we sending a letter or is it a press release? Or would we just say that we want acknowledgement of like, I'm just trying to figure out.
I'd suggest a letter rather than, I mean,
So, yeah, so
I
I'm
think
just
we should
trying to
wait
get
until
clarification.
we're closer to.
Well, it doesn't have to be shorter, but I think we should pick, something and not have words in there. And I'm not saying that about it. It just, the motion to recognize them, and then whether it's a letter or a letter to the paper or a press release, but one of them.
So could I amend that, Mayor? Maybe that we just acknowledge our firemen, the Didsbury Fire Department people. And there's no more.
Go ahead, Deputy.
No, I wasn't saying that we shouldn't, commend, all of the firefighters in the county. I'm just wondering, my question was more, how do we do that? Do we do that in a press release? So it was to, commend them all, but is it just done through a press release or a letter from the mayor or?
Could I comment first that, I think council, if we're gonna do anything, it would be to acknowledge all the efforts up there and even send a letter to the mayors of the region that are undergoing all this, but, you know, including our firefighters that are part of that, but I'd hate to take out the other part. Right, like I think everybody needs to be acknowledged, and I think we're all all in it with them, and whatever firefighters up there, we're certainly thankful. I think that Ethan and Will had her hand up to speak.
Yeah, well, and the one thing I'll just add before Nicole speaks too is it might be something, and that's a wonderful idea to acknowledge or who maybe as it's an unfolding situation, maybe it might be something to do at the end of the whole thing when it's, so then we can kind of speak to the whole effort and not just anything to add to that.
It could go on all summer, let's face it.
I think a way to, I think, capture what Councillor McCoy's intent is, it would be even using our social media channels, which has a far reach, where we could acknowledge the efforts of all firefighters and as well as the Didsbury members that have been in attendance. It would hit a lot of people. I think it's, current and would be well received, and I think it meets that sentiment that you're trying to express.
Do my rescinding of my motion.
Do it for.
Do it for all, whenever. Social media's gotta be current, right?
Well, and I think, often the social media too, we do that, but I think the council wants to make sure that it's council. I read a lot that the town of Didsbury does this, but I think the council and administrative team, or council and together with our personnel and administrative team, that we are thankful for all that's going on, and if that is through social media, I don't know, Ethan, if you want to motion or just say, I don't know, I'm confused now, there's been so back and forth there, so if we go to social media, I would just like to see that council is part of that sentiment that were mentioned, because I've seen a few just here and there that is out in town doing it, and I don't take away from that, council is we have, I know I'm not explaining it well, but I think everybody gets my gist. And is there a motion, do you want out of this then, Ethan, and then Councilor Baswick, go ahead. I'll let Ethan speak first, and or should we just count on, should we send a message? Council would like to have that social media with council's sentiments about the appreciation.
One, and maybe, so the fire department has been putting out the occasional information about this through the social media. I wonder if we could do a little social media thing on behalf of council, from council, unless that's the kind of thing we want to wait until kind of the whole thing wraps up, or it really be, I mean, there's a few ways you can think about that.
We'll make a final answer, because we're supposed to be a short meeting.
Yeah.
I think this acknowledgement and appreciation is getting too complicated here. All we have to do is send an appreciation, whatever, let administration do it. And let's move on.
With council as part of the dialogue, but by all means, the town is very administration and whatever. So do you want a motion on that? Or just, you've been listening to all this is going on, so I think we need a motion, just say council.
Yeah, and what we can include in that.
However that looks.
However that looks, because we could also do a letter from the mayor on behalf of the council to the fire department to thank them for their efforts as well. So maybe we just have a blanket motion of that appreciation be expressed on behalf of the council in multiple ways.
Okay, thanks.
So I'll make that motion.
Okay, Lana, you can do that problem.
Okay, moved by Councilor McCoy to acknowledge and appreciation be expressed on behalf of council, the volunteer firefighters from Didsbury and the region attending the fires in northern Alberta. Staff then?
No,
Include staff?
No, just
okay.
Councilor Windsor?
I'm good.
Thank you, Mayor Hunter. I think it's beyond just the members who have gone north to help. I think it is appreciation fire department here, our fire department, for the coverage that they're providing in the absence of those individuals.
Yeah.
We'll capture that in the letter. Okay, that motion's made. Any other, I think we beat it to death, so I'm gonna call a vote. All in favor? It's carried. You have an motion? I'm not, for motions, go ahead.
So that the administration, look at, possibility of fast-growing, deciduous trees. There, leaflets, I don't know, whatever has the roots that aren't gonna affect your eyes, and jasmine, something. And bring it back to council for, or bring the ideas back to council, if there are any. I don't know, I don't want to hurt it.
Well, I go back to this. Well, it's not my motion, it's your motion, so you would word it.
The last one was mine.
And then the other one was amended a bunch of times, asking for an amendment. I guess, I know we discussed this last year, and this was all discussed last year at the council table about the trees that were going into the campground. And I don't know how many years we have to investigate it, so I know that that was brought back here last year, and I know we talked about the types of trees that were gonna go in. The administration presented them, and then they put it in their budget, and then that is up to them, and I would count on them have already explored that, but, if you wanna find a way to word that, that covers anything that was already explored, like it was in our package last year, we did discuss it, and it was in the budget discussions and in 22.
May I? So I'm just thinking that because it's reporting officially that we can't go with mature trees, like publicly officially, right? That's why I was thinking that maybe there's something. And that's all I'm asking is that
So maybe administration could ask, did you explore this?
Yeah, but I wasn't allowed to. You told me I had to make a motion that it was operational.
But you were suggesting styles, so suggesting styles of trees rather than asking what they did explore. And I know it's hard to stay out of the weeds sometimes when we have a vision for something, but Ethan, can you answer that as what everything has been explored that could be explored at the campground? And the trees that are settled on are the trees that are settled on, and there's no other options? 'Cause then we could make a motion to explore
Sure.
further.
Yeah, and maybe this will help. So I'll have Nicole speak to that kind of effort and why we're at where we're at now with the lilacs.
Thank you. So yeah, we have explored it. We've spoken to our local tree companies to see what the best fit is. It's not only is it, we have multiple lines, it's also a very wet area, so we have to make sure that we're selecting things that are gonna grow and not waste time and effort and resources in planting something that's not going to do well. The lilacs we feel are a good fit because they do grow very quickly, which will eliminate the visual and sound issues that the visitors at the campground see. And they're beautiful. And we have a lot of them in our tree nursery that we are moving over there. So, you know, we already have them in stock, but they are the best fit in terms of that location.
Thanks for that answer. I don't need to make a motion now. Thank you, Mayor. Councilor Wizard?
Thank you, Mayor Hunter. I will move that Council Director Administration to invite the Communities in Blue group as a delegation at a future regular council meeting to provide a presentation on their successes in 2022, including the evaluation forum. Did I say that in Sloan?
Yes, I kind of had something else written ahead of time. To invite representatives from the Communities in Bloom program at a future council meeting and to provide information on the 2022 final report and the evaluation.
I would like to see the financial cost for the town of communities in Bloom. I don't think it's high, but I think it will show the value we're getting for not as much money as maybe people think. And I think that if you could just amend it to include a financial report of costs.
I'm not sure that that's the Communities in Bloom group that would give that report. I'm not sure that they're even aware of what the costs are.
No.
I think that would be a motion that would have to be directed to administration, bring back that as part of the budgetary. But that's just my thought.
Well, I believe we just passed the budget, didn't we? So we would have included all those costs in there. I know that, Councillor Bazick, but you're speaking your inside voice. We're trying to get there. We have a motion. And do you want your motion to stand? Because we can vote on it as it stands. All right, let's call the vote. All in favor? That's carried. You shouldn't present such difficult CAO reports, Ethan. Or thorough, or whatever it is. I'm not sure what it is. Okay, I think we're now, Councillor Baswick, towards number 7 now. And that would be council procedure bylaw, and I turn that to Councillor Windsor as the chair of the procedure bylaw.
Thank you, Mayor Hunter. I'll start with the motion and I'll move the council grant second reading to council procedure bylaw 2023-11. At the last council meeting, it was referred to the Policy and Governance Committee with an indication that if you had some revisions you would like to see, that you were to provide that to the CAO. As you all are aware, we received one recommendation because we received it all by email. That was the only one we received. Included in that was a comparison to Chestermere that was extremely insulting as far as I'm concerned, and not happy to be lumped in with anything to do with the Chestermere Council and what they
Point of
are
order.
experiencing.
That is,
So based on the input received, based on the input received, there have been some alterations to the procedural bylaw that was presented at the last regular council meeting. That is in your package that you have had the chance to review. There are a couple of things that probably need to be altered a little bit from what is presented, and that is that there are some numbering issues that need to be corrected and do, and I have to look and see where that was. You got them? Yes, there was something 1 and 2 in 2 places, and that was all. And yes, and that's, yeah. So we're asking, the committee is asking for you to support a second reading of the procedural bylaws as presented.
Can I ask, committee member, if there's anything to add? Being on the committee, I think we took the recommendation that came in and looked at a variety of other procedural bylaws that tweaked how the CEO and mayor worked on these agendas. So I hope that makes that councillor happy. And other than that, that's the committee input, and Councillor McCoy.
I won't bother suggesting an amendment, but I would ask for a recorded vote, and I would like to make a very brief statement on mine, that both procedural bylaw and agendas are important tools in strengthening the integrity of the municipal council's meeting process. They also ensure a level playing field for anyone attending council or council committee meeting process, which means that our procedural bylaw needs to look familiar to anyone from all over the province. And ours doesn't look like the standard layout. I think there's things in there that are covered by the MGA that don't need to be in here, because the MJ's here, right? Then procedural bylaw, but you can't. So personally, I would like the motion amended to be that this go to the committee level. Because I think it's too important of a document for 3 people to review it and for me to pass it. So if you're not willing to do that, then I'm requesting a recorded vote.
You're gonna amend your. So we, Councilor Dwight, or
It's
Steve?
okay.
It's
You
just
can
the
call me-
M's.
I'm sorry.
You can call me anything.
I'll
it's
change
all
it.
right.
I'm going to do that.
This is, very much, more acceptable. There is one thing that I would like to point out in, part 7, number 40, the way it's numbered right now. And that is, oh, that's not it, sorry, where is it? Okay, 41, sorry. Council members must have the approval of council by motion to put their name forward to take on any additional responsibility or role within their appointed assignment. And I would agree, if it's a volunteer board, you know, like, say, a museum or something like that, because normally we didn't allow councillors to take like positions as treasurer or anything like that within those, because the volunteer members do that. But on Mountain View Seniors Housing, we are the only people there, councillors. And when something needs to be done, we're asked to step up and take responsibilities at the meeting. Have to wait to say I can't take it until I've asked my council. I suggested that the county representative, Alan, take the signing authority that I've been doing, because I live the closest other than Olds. And it would cost Mountain View Seniors Housing Board more to have any other member from further out to come to sign checks. I'm not doing it right now, but it makes sense to call either me or Alan, other than Olds, to come and do that. And each time that I do that, I can't really get permissions. Also, if there is a finance, quite often finance and financing, and because of the 14 years I spent on credit union board, and on governance issues, succession committee, things like that, I'm quite often asked to participate. And I would expect that you would want me to do the best I can for that board. So I'm wondering if this, like on our commissions, water commission, waste commission, all there are is municipal council members. There's nobody else to take that responsibility. And I would think we want our members to take responsibilities when they come up. I hate to use Councillor Windsor's one, but when we're looking at RDR mug, see, that's an outside one, and there are others there. And to take on responsibility, he asked for permission, and because we pay for it. On Mountain View Seniors Housing, it saves all of us money, but, so I'm wondering, when there's no direct budgetary implication to council whatsoever, and our responsibility is there, I don't mind this being the way it is, except that it should be whenever we have to cover the cost. Because that's a budget impact, and so definitely we should have to ask if there's going to be a budget impact. But I can't see this working for Mountain View Seniors Housing or even waste or water commission.
Is the solution to that though, that we just add commissions, boards?
Sure.
Something like that, because your suggested wording didn't cover
It
that.
wasn't clear, I'm sorry.
That's okay, it started the conversation, but we could amend it for the commission boards. Because, you know, we had a situation, or have had situations, somebody's on a board, and then all of a sudden they're on another board within that, or taking another assignment within within that organization, and then that's extra money that's being paid. Plus, when they're speaking for council, they should have council's endorsement. So on a commission, you have council's endorsement. And just because you don't get paid to sit on and I had, an example, we had a CPAC. And then all of a sudden CPAC set up another committee outside of CPAC, and then that councillor didn't get approval. And so they're representing council on a committee that we hadn't given approval, plus we're also paying. So the commissions, boards, how do we even capture that? Councillor McCoy has her hand up, and then you.
I'm just confused, what number were you talking?
41.
Thank you.
I wonder if just adding in the front of that, what it might say, where there are budgetary implications, council members must have approval of council.
Like you're right, Monthly Students Housing Board doesn't affect us.
Right.
And I think when we appoint to commission and boards, we understand that's all encompassing. Because their role is theirs and they pay for it. So that, Fred and Councillor Deputy Mary, do you like that, just as far as an opinion?
Yeah, I think it's a very valid point, and I'm not on any commissions, and I haven't been, so I'm sort of at a disadvantage not knowing the inner workings of it, and obviously when it's strictly council representatives on that commission, they have to do the work. Somebody has to do it within that. So it's, but that being said, the commissions typically, I don't think any of the commissions have budgetary implications on this, do they? So that wording, I'm fine with that wording.
Capture that one?
Yes.
Councillor McCoy?
In case it passes, which we will, I would like to see 10, 11, and 16 removed. I think they're restraining council, and it doesn't seem to apply to others, so. And the second one to me is just a bit childish, like, do we really need to rotate seats every year because we can't get along? So I would like 11 for sure gone, and I would like 10, or I would like it to state no one can have an electronic device in council meeting. That would be the change I would ask, which would include devices owned by the town, but I mean handheld devices, not computers.
Okay, we have a motion for second reading on this, and everybody, we received an email and we made an amendment, we only received one. And we received the verbal information, but go ahead, Councilor Moore.
Just one more thing, and it's just, it doesn't really matter to me, but on number 24, I really appreciate to limit debate. The council member may at any time make a motion to end debate. That's a little bit awkward because unless you could add by calling the question, which is a parliamentary term, and you'd say, I'm calling for the question, because otherwise, what would you say? And it might be awkward at the time to say, okay, stop, end debate, something like that. So I'm just suggesting that if it would make it more clear, make a motion to end debate and call for the question rather than the vote. Would the question is all in favor? That is the next question.
Just came out of Robert's rules, so the wording.
Okay, I'm okay with it. It's just that normally you say call for the question.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Okay, thanks. Councilor Beswick?
Again, Mayor Hunter, it seems to be some inconsistencies in what we're hearing here. So, unless this is formulated properly, I can't go on this thing. So maybe we should throw it to whatever committee of the whole, whatever you want to do to get these things in order. There's so many changes that have been suggested right now that it's not a complete document.
Well, there's a motion on the table to have second reading, so I am going to call the vote on the second reading.
There's also a motion for a clerk vote, correct?
I don't take those, but on it, I'm sure you did. So I'll call the vote, all in favor,
I'm sorry, that's with the amendment, right?
so that's carried. And we can go to third reading.
You need to say against.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, I do, opposed. I have to say that, yeah, I really thought this was going to be an orderly meeting and move through. This has been on the table a long time, so I did call opposed, and there was 2. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor Hunter. I'll move the council grant third and final reading to council procedural bylaw 2023-11.
I'd ask for referral again.
So any last comments or questions? And it won't be as amended anymore.
It was amended last.
Call the vote, all in favor? And opposed? So that's carried. So we move on to 7.2, Sean's Village Land Corp. Yeah,
I move that, council grant first reading of bylaw 2023-12, amending the land use bylaw 400, 500, and 600 Jones Drive.
I don't think we need any other information, unless there's questions to move forward. We usually the first reading is just.
There's 3 separate motions here.
Okay. I'm finding that page. I'll call a vote on that. All in favor? That's carried.
The second one then? Okay. I move the council grant first reading of bylaw 2023-13, amending Sean's Village ASP.
Call the vote, unless there's questions. All in favor? You have a question? Councilor McCoy has a question.
Just quickly, so if we're amending this, are we changing the front property or just those 3 lots? Because it's a separate bylaw?
Picture up there. Maybe Ethan wants to speak to that.
Sure, thank you, Mayor. Yes, all these documents are impacted by change. They all are related to those front 3 lots. And so it's to change those front 3 lots from residential to commercial, which impacts both the land use bylaw as well as the municipal development.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll call a vote, all in favor? That's carried.
Sorry, just to clarify, not municipal development, area structure.
Okay, and I move the council set June 27th, 2023 as the public hearing for bylaw 2023-12 and bylaw 2023-13.
Okay, having another public hearing, that's good news. Call a vote, all in favor? I guess I shouldn't say that. Good news. That's good news. Okay, we have item, more good news, 8.1.
I move the council approve the offer of $2,433,900 for the lands legally described as Plan 1310247, Block 1, Lots 2, 10, 11, and 12.
Questions? Should we approve that offer or accept it?
Wording should be approved.
They mean the same to you?
The better word is approved.
Okay, fine. Okay,
How about if I say I approve that we accept?
approve that we accept the offer.
There we are.
It doesn't matter to me, it's fine, the way it was read. It means the same that, lots 1, 2, 10, 11, and 12 have a offer.
approve the acceptance of.
Yes.
That's right.
Any comments or questions? Call the vote, all in favor? That's carried.
And that was changed to approve the acceptance of, right?
Okay, we have item 8.2, Red Deer Polytechnique, convocation invitation. Councilor Moore?
I move that we approve Mayor Hunter is available to attend the 2022-2023 Red Deer Polytechnic convocation ceremonies on June 2nd, 2023.
Councilor McCoy?
Just a question, do we have, Didsbury kids graduating this year?
I would have to look into that. Or have somebody, I would imagine.
Just like, we could go to every post-secondary and watch them graduate, but if we don't have residents, I'm not sure it's money that is well spent. I'm sure, like you said, every month, I mean, sorry, I had a spill, that's what I'm doing.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Call the vote, all in favor? Did you vote? Okay, that's carried.
Sort of.
Item 8.3, Columbia Regional Water, Columbia Regional Waste Management Commission agreement. Councilor Windsor?
Mayor Hunter, I will move that council approve the updated agreement with Mountain View Regional Waste Management Commission as presented.
Questions or comments? Let's wait till Councilor McCoy gets back.
I'm
Call
sorry.
the vote. We'll call the vote then on the agreement with Mountain View Regional Waste Management. All in favor? Carried. RCMP Building Capital Projects, item 8.4, Councilor Moore.
I move to amend the 2023 capital budget to add the RCMP interior renovation project for $20,000 funded 28% town of Didsbury RCMP capital reserve, 72% RCMP. To add furniture upgrades for $60,000 funded 28% the town of Didsbury, and capital RCMP capital reserve, 72% from the RCMP. And to add that RCMP detachment parking lot expansion for $50,000, funded 28% town of Didsbury general reserve, 72% RCMP, and that the capital budget documents be updated accordingly.
Thank you for that. It's a mouthful. Questions or comments? I'm just wondering if administration explored the operating, since we have an RCMP reserve operating, would it be, did administration explore that and rather than take it out of the general reserve?
So to answer your question, the RCMP operating reserve is for the contracted costs. And so that would be something that I would recommend be used for a capital project, whereas the general reserve can be used for basically anything. But it is council's prerogative.
And just to finish that, I guess, maybe, and I'll say it to councilor. I'll just wait for a councilor to get back. Do we have a recess that,
Well, I need my notes in there all. So if you don't mind me just sorting.
well, I do while the meeting's on.
Well,
But-
wait till the end, I won't find my notes until the meeting's over. Go ahead.
Well,
I just won't, I'll just put them back here. Okay.
I don't mind calling recess for you to get your papers in order.
It's all right.
That's fine with me. I guess I'll say then we should probably set a direction for that operating reserve or make it more clear. And I don't wanna make another motion for more work, but maybe that's something that we look at when the budget comes next year. Look at that operating, I know I'll ask that after Councilman McCoy goes, but I'll just finish with that. I'm gonna ask about the operating reserve, funding. Councilman McCoy?
Just a quick question, like, is this not, I didn't want to call a point of order, but this sounds really operational to me. We just had an earlier conversation about the budget just being passed. So since this is potentially a budget item, should it not be, not discussed by us?
I would disagree, just because I asked if we explored that, and then I'm gonna, it's council's budget as far as, I'd like, can I follow up just, Amanda, are we are still funding that annually? 'Cause I don't recall seeing that. And I guess it's just to keep on our radar, you know, where is it headed with the operating, and we could transfer that to reserve. Maybe that's the direction council wants to take in the future for these kinds of projects. Because we also heard other information about that building, but I'll leave it at that, and Amanda said she couldn't recommend that right now, but there's a motion on the floor. Any other comments? Questions? It's, can you put it up there? Can you put it up there, Joanna?
I want to hear it from memory.
Oh, yes, no, yes. Please don't read it again. Thank you.
Okay. I'll call the vote on that motion. All in favor? That's carried. So we have a 2023 Community Grants Program.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Hunter. I will move that council approve the 2023 Town of Didsbury Community Grants as presented. Community Grant Program grants as presented.
Would you amend your motion to include that the 850 remains unassigned?
That's another motion and there is that option.
Yeah, but is it? I'm sorry, yeah. I did read that. Thank you though for that. Questions then on this motion? Did you want to speak to it since you made the motion?
Thank you, Mayor Hunter. I know it's kind of a minor point, and it's maybe being just plain picky, but it talks about in the background this grant being $30,000, and it's not. By motion, and I'd have to look up when the motion was, but it was a while back. It was on March 14th, where the motion to set the community grant reserve was $29,995, not $30,000. And so I think it's, when we're referring to this, I think it would be prudent to actually refer to the correct number.
Except it's not a motion.
Amanda,
I appreciate it.
can answer for that. I think we corrected that. We put it back there.
Did you have something to say, Ethan? I don't know if you had your hand up, because.
No, I did.
Amanda did.
Okay. Councilor Moore, thank you. I know you're wanting to move along, just like Councilor Bowser, I agree. So go ahead.
Through the chair to speak to the comment, this fund has been in a interest-bearing account. And so although only $29,995 got reserved at the end of last year, there had been interest accrued on the account. So, and the amount included in the budget was the full $30,000 to be transferred from the reserve to fund this program for this year. And that's why that amount is included in the RFP that way.
Okay. Other questions or comments? Does that answer your question? Okay, so we have the motion to approve the community grants as presented. Let's call the vote. All in favor? That's carried. Councilor Moore?
I move allocate the remaining $150 to be held for additional opportunities that may arise in 2023.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I think it's, we have those. Did you have a comment? Or, I thought you had one of this.
No, I just put a piece of paper.
With your hand up?
No,
Okay.
I was doing it now.
Okay, let's,
No, I wasn't sorry.
there's a motion to hold out money for future opportunities or applications. I will call a vote. All in favor? That's carried. We have the Town of Didsbury 2023 to 2025 strategic plan, item 8.6. More.
I move to that council approve the town of Didsbury 2023 to 2025 strategic plan as presented.
Thank you for that. Comments or questions? I do think we need a celebration after a year and a half that we have a strategic plan, but we'll talk about that another day. We'll call the vote and work well done, council and our communications team and everybody else that had a part in our community service, our whole administrative team. And I'll call the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Thanks, everyone. Councilor Moore?
I move that council approve the printing of the town of Didsbury 2023 to 2025 strategic plan as presented.
Thank you for that as well, for the research done. Any other comments or questions? Call the vote. All in favor? That's carried.
Okay.
Yes, you have to do this one.
Oh, I'm not that enthusiastic about this. I move that council approve the production of strategic priority magnets as presented.
Thank you for that. Any other comments or questions? Call the vote. All in favor? That's carried. And we're gonna have a big rollout of a strategic plan. I think that's exciting. Look forward to the 2.5 years we get to use it. We have item 8.7, the outline plan renaming contest. Oh, you're on a roll here, Councilor Moore.
Well, it seems to be rolling when I do this.
Thank you. Yeah.
I move to approve the process for the Didsbury Memorial Complex outline plan naming contest.
Comments or questions? Call the vote.
No.
Are you voting?
No.
Oh, you want a question?
I have a
A comment?
Would it be appropriate at this time to just kind of publicly say what the contest is, like the rules of it, or, I know we know it, but publicly, so that it's on the website? We probably have someone here through the chair that could give us a brief explanation of what the contest entails and what it's going to, outcome at.
Yes, Ian.
Well, and as per the council committee of the whole meeting, that we approved all these steps and actions going forward, and then we're ratifying here tonight. Is that what you're after? So council worked on this to make sure that,
Oh, I know what it is. We know what we're doing, but the public is unaware. I just thought it might be a good time for the public to be made aware of what the contest is.
okay.
That's all.
Ethan, would you like your team to speak to that, or would you like to speak to that?
We'll have Nicole speak to that, give an overview. Nicole will give an overview of the contest.
Thank you. Through the chair, this is a very exciting opportunity for Didsbury residents who can submit their contest entries to rename the outline plan, which is essentially the grounds at the Didsbury Memorial Complex that have been, we had 2 phases of development, our skate park as well as the new Jets playground that was installed 2 years ago. We have another portion of it happening this year with a pathway and some landscaping. And frankly, outline plan is a very technical term when it comes to planning documents, but it doesn't really speak to the specialness of that space for all of our residents. So for that reason, we are holding a contest that will be launched early next week and run until June the 30th, where all Didsbury residents, no matter what age, can submit a name that they think would be appropriate for that park space. And the final decision, which will ultimately lie with council to select the winner of the contest, will be announced at our annual Showcase Didsbury event this September. Please see the Town of Didsbury website next week for more details.
It's great. And I know we discussed this before, but we're still gonna have the Didsbury Memorial Complex, and then we're gonna have a different name for the park. Would it be easier to call it the Memorial Park and call the other one the new name? And that would be the rename? Sort of. Yeah.
We went through this whole thing at the committee of whole, and we came up with this directive, and now the directive's at the table, and I don't know that council's interested in re-exploring. There's a motion on the table, and I will call the vote for that motion on the Memorial Complex Outline Fund naming contest. All in favor? That's carried. 7:23 right now. There's correspondence. Go ahead, Councilor.
I wasn't ready for that. I move that council accept correspondence items presented as information.
And thanks to the council members that attended that. And it was a bang-up show, and it was really loud and fun for the younger folk. It was a great event. It really was. Call the vote, all in favor? You were there, the council. Oh, I know that, yeah. Your daughter told me. That's carried. Is there someone opposed? Okay. All right, let's not, you guys. We have a new procedural bylaw, so I would like everybody to go home and read it about those comments and sidebars and whatnot, so that helps the decorum of the meeting again. So we have what do we have now? Council meeting highlights. I think I started with Council Moore last week. So you wanted to go first?
Yeah.
Okay, Deputy Mayor.
Well, I've got a whole bunch of them, but, I'm gonna say my highlight, it's tough. Because no matter which one I pick, there's lots of good ones, but I'll go with 8.1, the land sale for Sean's. I think that's a very exciting opportunity for our town, and I'm extremely excited to be a part of this. It's gonna be fantastic.
Darn it, I could go first sometimes.
You could.
Well done, well done. Councilor McCoy, go ahead.
I'm going to say that the RCMP building capital project, because it's going to give them the capacity to better serve the community.
Okay, Councilor Bazick?
I think mine is the finalizing of the community grant program. I think there's not a lot of people who are looking forward to receiving those funds to keep the programs going, so that would be mine.
Thank you. Councilor Moore?
I'm gonna say the strategic plan, getting that off and running.
These are going pretty much in order of how I would have picked them.
That's the problem.
I wonder.
So I'm going to say that, I really like the waste management one, but I'm going to say the procedural bylaw.
Okay. And I'm gonna say the outline plan renaming, because that's been one of my pet peeves for years. And now we'll have a name for it that, when we say it, people don't say, well, where's that?
Yeah.
Because it was so generic and I understood the intent, but it's gonna be nice to have a name that when you say it, people know where they're going, or where the event's held at. So, oh, I don't know, we never done that before.
I'd like to thank Phil for being here tonight.
Phil's always here. He knows he's welcome and we thank him every time. Okay, so we have question period and Phil has yet to have any questions, but you want to adjourn the meeting? To close? Is that what your hands up?
I don't know if we have any clothes.
No, we don't, to adjourn the meeting.
So I'll motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:27.
I think Councilor Baswick should be able to
He's
do. All in favor?
I was waiting for clothes.
See what happens when I fly out at 7 in the morning?